Hello, my beautiful people. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Depends where you are in the world. I just did a video and this is the part two, and I'm continuing from there. I'm quite enjoying talking about it, and I always love talking to you guys anyway. It's a very relaxed time, um, quite late in the evening, and I just thought like maybe I can finish this topic that I have touched upon, and that is food and food's energy and energies in general. You know, it's a very sensitive topic. Actually, it's a very sensitive thing to think about and to deal with. So respecting other people's energy and protecting your own energy, because we are energy beings, is very important. I remember long time ago, um, I was not feeling well for some reason, and my um, husband's second cousin, she was sitting on the sofa right in front of me, and she's quite spiritual. And then she said to me, "You know what? You've got those big, beautiful, you've got so much beautiful light around you." And that was my aura changing colors. So basically, what happens when you see people who can read auras, they can tell you that your energy is changing all the time. Your aura is changing colors all the time. So it's very important. It's like, it's like light is radiating from you. It's like, have you seen those, um, like a transmitter? I don't know, whatever. It's, things like light flicking, one red light, green light, blue light, that sort of thing. That's what we are. That's what happens with us. And that's why I keep saying when you meditate, just bear with it, because there will be a time when I don't want to guarantee that what kind of lights you will see or what you will see, but you will definitely see the colors of your energy. You just have to be patient with that. And in the beginning, it might look like, oh, it's dark, but it doesn't stay dark. You find your world within you with your eyes closed, because the world you see with these physical eyes is not your world. You're just here. Your world is here, and that you can only see when you meditate. Anyway, so we were talking about the energies, and I just said protect your energy, protect your food's energy too. Make sure that you cook your food in a private and clean environment. Make sure that you cook your food with clean and loving energy. Make sure your food has not been handled by so many people who you don't know. Make sure you don't eat outside food every day, or the food that is being cooked like God knows when, and then you're eating it today. You know, when the expiry date comes on something, then it's not fresh. We know that. So that means like it's better to take a little bit of effort, like the time that you're from trying to save from everywhere. I mean, I can't believe it. People will say, "Oh, I don't have time to cook my dinner because I'm going out with friends tonight." Or they will say, "Oh, I don't have the time to cook my food because I come back from work, and then after that, um, I have to do my office work or so and so, or somebody's coming to visit me." So your food is the least important. That should be on the priority actually, because that is what you are. You eat what you are what you eat. You turn into that. I mean, what are we? I was not born in this size. You were not born in this size wherever you are, whatever you are. You were like by this size. So what brought you to this size? Accumulation of all that food that you've been eating. All that bread, rice, and whatever. So we are the accumulation of that. So in the solid form, that is the accumulation that actually goes here. But in the energy form, energy also it obviously becomes a part of us. So choose very carefully what you're eating, where it's coming from, what's the source of that food, how it's being cooked, who has cooked it, in what environment you're eating your food. Sometimes it's actually better to stay hungry than eating. My grandmother always taught me, my grandparents, they always taught me, like, when we're out, if you're hungry, don't eat there. Even with my school lunch, she used to give me the lunch and she used to say, well, when you're alone in the classroom, then you eat it in your lunch break. Because children used to be all over the place, as is normal in the schools, crowded places, and then everybody opens their lunchbox, talking to each other and eating. But she used to say, sit in a quiet place, and then eat. She also used to feed me in private place. Like, if there's a guest in the house, and if I say I'm hungry, first of all, I was trained. I would never do that because from the beginning I knew that we don't eat when people are around unless they have come over for food. If they've just come to visit, then I will wait. I wouldn't ask for the food. But if I was really hungry or when I was really young, then if I would ask for the food, then my grandmother would say, okay, just wait. And then once they're gone, then she will serve the food. Not because she didn't want to feed them. It's not that. Because they didn't want to eat the food. She will ask them, do you want some food? Would you like to join us for dinner or for lunch? And if they say, no, 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 it's okay, we're going. So then she will wait for them. Because when people are around, the thing is, everybody is different. You need to be, food is something that's very private. Unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but unfortunately, we are bringing all private things into public. And the public things are coming into our private life. Such as, I'll give you a little example. Like, in today's world, if it's somebody's birthday, I find it quite ununderstandable. Or maybe I'm old fashioned, I don't know. The mother or the father or the family, they're wishing the child, they're living in the same house, but they're wishing them on some, I don't want to name it, but on some social platform. Why you can't? It's a private business. It's your child's birthday. It's quite private thing, isn't it? It's a family thing. But no, it will come on the social platform. The whole world has to know it's their child's birthday. I mean, friends, family, that's fine. But why you have to public it? Why you have to public everything? I'm surprised they don't tell people how many times they went to toilet. Same goes like, your love life, your sex life. That doesn't have to be on the roads. Have some respect for your own life. Keep it private. Not because you're scared. Everybody knows when two people are together, two different genders, and they're in love, what do they do? Everybody knows that. You don't have to teach people being in the public, sitting on a bus stop or walking on the roads and telling people this is what we do. This is what a couple is supposed to do. We all know that. Children learn that even in growing up in the schools now. But you have to respect your life. You have to respect your own personal, private business. But no, we've just public it all. Everything is going public. And the public things are coming inside the house. Like, okay, what's happening in somebody else's house or their life, that becomes your business. That's not your business. But that, you make it your business. If somebody is they've got a new car or new house, how they're making their money, how they manage to do that, knowing that becomes your business. Same goes like everything else that is happening in the world. Knowing about the world, like even if you're happy, when people are happy and you invite them in your house and all that, so not necessarily it has to you have to just invite everybody you even don't know, but you're bringing the people, like housewarming party or any kind of party. Half the people need introduction with each other. They even don't know who they are. It's just a walk-in thing. So the public is there. I don't know. It's quite confusing for me. I never understood it. I didn't understand it. I even don't understand it now. I don't know why we can't respect our business. And it's really sad. It's just sad because if you don't respect yourself, if we don't respect ourselves, we how can we respect anything else or anybody else? And that's what's happening. I mean, you look at these new people, They're very, very young people. You look at them now. Um, their values have changed from, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Without being judgmental, I'm just saying, but there are so many things are off the track. In the long run, they're not even beneficial for them or for the society. It's not my business and it's not anybody's business. But whoever is making their business to that thing, in the long run, it's not going to serve them right. So it's very important to see what we're doing in our life. Every action, every thought matters. Every emotion matters. Every word matters. You have to be very, very careful with what you are thinking. How long that thought is there for. What is it related to? If it's negative or positive. Is it supposed to stay there or is it supposed to go? Is it against somebody or is it a loving thought? Is it hatred? Whatever it is. So in my other video as well, I think, as I've already said this, pay attention to what you're thinking. Keep a check. Keep your thoughts in check. Keep your emotions in check. Because if you don't do that, your system will go crazy. And everything that is here will become you. Those emotions, something that doesn't belong to you, don't keep it. Say, you saw somebody saying something. They were nasty. They were not being good or nice to you or to somebody else. For that moment, being a human, that affected you. You didn't like it. Maybe you also confronted them, but maybe you just walked away. But it was in your head. So when you come home, like you take your shower, then you sit down and take another shower. That's for your thoughts. So just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes and think like, okay, what affected me today? And if whatever comes, because they will come, they will pop out. Good or bad, whatever you've been through all day, that comes out. Especially something that affects you. So if that incident affected you, of that argument or that person's nastiness or their words, that will get highlighted. Immediately delete it. It's not your problem. Why would you keep it in your system? They did it, their action, their words. They cleared it, they didn't clear it. You can't help that. But at least you can come home and delete it from your system. Because it's not going to serve you in any positive way. So don't corrupt your system. Don't keep the things that are not for you or they're not useful. I remember there was sometimes little things teach you big things. When I was very young, I think I have said this in one of my videos that I used to read a lot. But it's not like I used to read anything. But yes, it started like that. I was very young. I think it must have been 10, 11. But we had an environment, very, very literary environment in our house. My dad was he was a PhD English literature. He was a university professor. He was all into reading, writing, and all that stuff. All his circle, his friends were all poets and authors and all that. So, and he had so many books in his study. So I started reading books, but I didn't take the books from my dad. In the beginning, I used to have a friend. She was half Italian, half English, Chiara. She gave me a book, and that was Harold Robbins. And I'm sure whoever has read Harold Robbins, they know the type of books Harold Robbins books are. So it was all about intimacy and all that stuff. So I read that. A 12-year-old girl is reading that. So obviously those days it was not like it was quite a private thing that, human relationships, especially human intimate relationships, they were quite, so it's not like even the children were aware of what happens, behind the closed doors. So it was very fascinating for me. So I read that. And then she gave me Betsy. Now, whoever has read Betsy, they will know what that is about. So I read Betsy. First time when I was reading this Harold Robbins book, my dad saw me reading that, and he didn't say anything. But the second time when I was reading Betsy, I was a bit conscious because you have that guilty conscience, like what we're reading. So I was also like trying to hide the book. But unfortunately or luckily, whatever, he saw me. The book once dropped from my side table. He was entering my room, and then he saw that. And then he said, "Oh, another book." And he said, "Who is supplying you all this type of literature?" I said, he didn't say this type of. He said, "Who's supplying you all these books?" I said, "My friend Kiara," and so he said, "Oh, okay, yeah." He said, "Fine." And I was really worried that hopefully he's not going to ask me what it's all about, because then I would be speechless, so I couldn't tell him. So I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yes, okay. When you finish this book, then tell me. Then I will give you a book to read." I didn't really take it seriously. I thought, like, okay, I'm reading the most hot stuff. Anyway, very spicy one. So when I read that, and I was getting quite hooked to that type of books. 2 books I had already read. And then when I returned that book, I remember I was not facing my dad for quite some time. God knows why. But it's like, we were not coming face to face. One day he called me and said, "Oh, do you have anything to read?" Oh, I said, "No, not at the moment." He said, "Read this." He gave me, it's a classic, Alie Ellenberg's novel, The Thaw. And the people who've read it, they will know what it's about. So in the beginning, I didn't find it interesting, obviously, because I was getting used to that kind of stuff. But then gradually, it actually got a hold of me, and I started literally getting involved with that novel. And when I was reading it, after I finished it, my dad said, "Well, once you finish it, we'll talk about it." He used to discuss the books with me. So when I finished that, and one fine evening when he sat down and he was in a mood to discuss it, so he asked me, and to be honest with you, in the beginning, I was only reading that book because I knew my dad is going to ask me about it. So I have to read it. So that was the whole idea of starting just to read it. Otherwise, I could probably say, yes, I've read it. But no, I had to read it. But then after that, I started getting involved with it. Actually, it just, it did catch my attention and my interest. So anyway, so when he heard me, when he was talking to me, then he said to me, he didn't say anything about those books, Harold Robbins, Betsy, or anything, no. But he did say to me, he said, "Look, like we don't eat anything, if anybody gives you any kind of junk food, rubbish food, will you eat it? And if you eat it, you will know that it's not good for your health, your physical health." I said, "Yes." He said, "If you are not careful with what you're reading or what you're watching, that's not good for your mental health. So always put in your system what is healthy, clean, and good, whether it's going inside in your body or in your mind." So that's why it's very, very important to keep an eye on what we are indulging, knowingly or without knowing about it. Sometimes, if you're not really careful and conscious about it, then you can just carelessly, you can just indulge anything. When I say indulge, yes, literally, it is like, your mind is, because that's why, it's not good there are so many things that young children should not really come in they should not really watch, or they should not read. because it's not for their mind. I mean, horror movies, I remember when we were children, even when my children were young, you know, watching horror movies, no, it doesn't really affect your mind in a positive way. It doesn't. That you or fight and action or all that stuff, that aggression, that violence. What I'm saying is, whatever we see from these eyes affects the mind. Whatever we think affects the whole system. Whatever we see with the eyes, that also affects the mind and the whole body or the whole system. Whatever somebody says goes through our ears affects the system. Whatever emotions we create in the reaction of somebody's words or some interaction with other humans or some situation in our life, that also affects. So clearing it is like you sweep your floors, you hoover your carpets, you clean your house every day. So clean your system every day, and also be very careful in what you are putting in. What are you accepting in your system, whether it's going in here or it's going here? It has to be very, very careful choice, carefully chosen things. Because if you're not careful, you will become who you don't want to be, and who this world also don't want to be, to have here. This is not good for the world either. So careless choices always bring disastrous results. So be careful in whatever you do. Well, I think I have made 2 long videos today, and I'm quite happy about it, because I think not all of it, because it's such a lengthy topic, but I think I've given the main idea of, actually you must have the idea anyway, because obviously I'm sure you guys know better than I do, but it's just a reminder of the things that, and we should keep reminding each other. We all learn every day from each other. So it's not like I'm teaching you or something. It's just take it as a reminder. Pay attention to it, please. Think about it. It's not about anybody else. It's about your own self. And who is more important than you? You should be the most important for yourself. So I'm going to finish this video here tonight. And wherever you are, just stay safe, keep happy, keep healthy, keep smiling. Life is beautiful.